It's 9:19. The troubled Boeing 737 MAX commercial airplane has been approved by the FAA to resume flying. It was grounded for almost 2 years after 2 fatal crashes. And with so many aircraft controlled by automated software systems, how secure do travelers feel?
Writer Jack Hirsch is also a pilot. He looks into all of this in his new book, The Dangers of Automation in Airliners, Accidents Waiting to Happen. He joins us now. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning.
Morning. Thanks for having me. Nice to see you.
We just had news yesterday that the Boeing 737 MAX has been approved to fly again after being grounded for 2 years. So what does that mean for travelers? Should they feel safe on those planes?
Well, to be honest, the 737 MAX, which is, a plane that was originally designed in the 1960s, might not be as safe as every other airplane in the sky. Planes are designed to be stable and docile in the air. And 737 MAX is under most circumstances, but a pilot can't put it in a position where it's somewhat unstable. And commercial airplanes are not supposed to be unstable. So I think there's an issue here.
So is the problem they have an automation system that's different on other planes? Is there something about the engine too heavy in that plane? Have they made a change?
Well, actually, they did. So, as I said, the plane was designed originally in the 1960s. By the time you get to the third iteration of the airplane, the 737 MAX, the engines are so large and so powerful, they had to be placed a little bit forward and a little higher than where the engines used to be. What that did is it caused some instability in the airflow between the engine and the fuselage itself. Not normally, not 99% of the time, but the pilots can put it either the nose too high or the wings too banked, where you might get instability. So Boeing created the software, didn't tell pilots about it back a few years ago, but they put software in there to prevent this instability from occurring. But software requires sensors, and what if the sensors go bad? And in the case of the Ethiopian plane crash, the sensor they think got hit by a bird. In the case of the Indonesian crash, the sensor was put in incorrectly. The result is the pilots have to take over, and sometimes if pilots aren't expecting it, they're not prepared to handle an emergency like that wouldn't have occurred in any other airplane in the sky.
So whether we're talking about a training issue or a design issue, I think viewers think that there's somebody like the FAA that makes sure these private industries are doing the right things and everything's going to be safe. Does that not happen?
Well, I think in this case, for whatever reasons, and there's been lots of research and stories about just how hard the FAA's arm was twisted to get the 737 MAX up into the sky legally. Irrespective of that, you've got this plane there now, and the question is, should it continue to keep flying? And frankly, as I said, 99% of the time, this plane is going to be fine. But this plane, unlike any other commercial plane in the sky, can be put into a dangerous scenario where it's not that safe. And so, yeah, crews can be trained to counteract it. And in fact, let's say in the Indonesian Lion Air 610 crash, the pilot, the captain, was battling MCAS successfully for 11 minutes. The thing was he was fighting the flu. And at the 11th minute, he turned it over to his co-pilot, and within a minute, crashed it. Planes shouldn't be up in the sky when you've got a scenario that you could put the plane into that makes it hard to handle or impossible to handle in the case of that plane.
So what did Boeing do to fix that? Did they fix something, or did they just, in order to get it approved, did they just train people better? Is the plane still the same?
The plane is the same, but the software is different, and the training has been, the amount of training required has been raised. And so you put the two together and you have an even safer plane than you had before, but they haven't eradicated the initial issue, which is this instability that's caused in the relationship between the engine and the fuselage. That's still there.
So we've had the 2009 Air France 447 flight accident. There was one in 2013, a South Korean flight. Let me ask you about the pilots. Do they feel like they're getting enough training? Do they feel like they're being put in jeopardy? Do they want to fly the plane more?
Well, look, there's 290,000 commercial pilots in the world, and I would say the great majority of them are really fantastic pilots, and they've wanted to be there since they were 2 years old. But pilots require training. We train them much better, I think, in U.S. airlines than in some of the foreign airlines. But irrespective of that, pilots want to fly airplanes generally. But if pilots become super reliant on automation. In the case of the Asiana crash that you mentioned in San Francisco, the pilot was a 10,000-hour pilot, but he'd been landing planes using significant automation so much that when the automation at the airport was turned off, he couldn't get his plane down to the ground safely. That's a question of training. And so I think, yes, there's a certain amount of training that's always required of pilots. A lot of pilots own their own airplanes. Most pilots love to fly, but they need hands-on time, and automation takes that hands-on time away.
So should the average airline passenger be worried about too much automation? Is there anything they can do to ask about it? What type of plane they're getting on, or?
No, I might ask about getting on the 737 MAX. But other than that, look, as I said, with all the commercial pilots in the world, 100,000 takeoffs and landings by commercial planes every single day, your odds of getting hit by lightning are the same as anything happening on an airplane. I mean, your odds of being in a severe accident in a car crash is 1 in 100 during the course of your life. It is thousands of times less likely in an airplane. So it's as safe as can be. But when you get a confluence of events, you get something going wrong with automation or something happening to the airplane itself, and a pilot who hasn't spent enough time recently with his hands on the controls, you have an accident waiting to happen, as the book is subtitled. Larry, you mentioned the Air France crash. In the Air France, the plane was at 35,000 feet cruising altitude. For 1 minute, they didn't know what their airspeed was. And for the next 2.5 minutes after that minute, they struggled to handle the airplane, and the result was they pancaked into the Atlantic Ocean. It never should have happened, and probably only happened because of the lack of recent hands-on experience by the crew.
All right. The book is The Dangers of Automation in Airliners. Jack, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.